All right, this is attempt number 2 on the live stream. On the audio here from the Woodshed, hitting a little roadblock today. I'm going to wait and see if we got good audio before I continue on. Check the chat and see what happens. Did that get it right there? All right, we're all good. Okay, cool. All right, perfect. Guitar audio, good. All right, now we're rocking. Great. So those that don't know, if you're seeing this video after the fact, it's because we live stream here every Tuesday from the old Woodshed studios. Thanks to all the Patreon members who make this happen and allow us to take this time out of the schedule to do this thing. So the topic for today is the amplifier that saved my butt, saved me on Shiprock. And that is the Van Halen, the EVH 5153. Now, a lot of you guys know this amplifier for maybe high gain metal. And I've even got like a carnal knowledge kind of era tone, you know, kind of pulled up here. So it's kind of like definitely what it's known for is this kind of sound, specifically the more high gain shred stuff. A lot of metal guys use this, right? And on Shiprock, it's an interesting thing because it's a festival in the middle of the ocean. And this amplifier really bailed me out. I'm going to tell you the story about it, and then we'll go through the different things on the amp. This is just a stock white 5153 first gen, okay? And for those that don't know, this is 100 watt. I think it's the best bang for the buck on the market of any amplifier in the 100 watt dollar smiles per hour kind of thing, right? It's a huge value. And okay, so let's talk about what happened. On Shiprock, it's a festival on the water. It's a music festival with, 30, 40 bands, multiple stages. And you're on a cruise ship, right? And it leaves on Sunday and it leaves on Saturday and it's back on Saturday, right? So needless to say, there's no guitar center to go if you have an issue. I am the musical director for said Shiprock and the Stowaways, and part of my responsibility is to make sure the backline is correct with the backline company. Okay, now the backline company is in a very unique position because they have to pre-package everything and get it to Florida and get it on a cruise ship, and what's there is there. Snafus and issues and problems will happen. I think it's safe to say, you guys that follow me and you're in my communities, you've probably heard me say 2 is 1 and 1 is none. And it's especially true when you're out on the high seas because there is no getting another one. Past 4 or 5 years, I've been the musical director for the Stowaways. That's a headlining show that's kind of like, it's themed, and it's cherry picking individuals from every band on the boat and guest artists and making super groups. So I make the backline order for that. And the backline is very simple. It's 5153 half stacks with fractal VP4s in the loop so everybody can have some delay or reverb if they want it, or a boost for volume for solos. Okay, now that we established what the normal situation is, since probably 2008 or 9, I've always been hired on to Shiprock as an artist in addition to being the music director for the past 4 or 5 years. So previously, I've always just been an artist, and I do an Andy Wood show and do the songs for my records. And I typically ask for Mesa Boogie Lone Stars. I ask for closed back cabinets. So, and it's a very common backline order that I make. I make that same order when I'm with a pop country like a Gary or something, or if I'm going to go to do a clinic. Because, and here's the reason, Sir amplifiers are not in most backline companies. Most backline companies don't have Sir amplifiers, and I use the SL68. So what do? You find the next best thing, and Lone Stars are big, clean, pedal platform kind of amps. That's the kind of sound that I like to have to do my solo music, and the music from Charisma and the music from Junktown and Truth and Lie. It's always Lone Stars. Okay, so on the boat, we've had rehearsal on day one. And the backline, other than not having a couple of small details, they had the backline that I wanted, which was the 5153s. Rehearsals go great for the Stowaways. That thing starts doing fine. It's going great. And next day, we have the day off. And then the next day, we have an Andy Wood show. I go down to the venue. And you keep in mind, this is before... I'm wearing the suit and the hat and the shades and the, cowboy outfit. I'm in my civilian attire. I go down there, I start checking around. I'm like, all right, cool. Where are the boogies? Anybody seen the boogies? Anybody seen the Lone Stars? No, anybody see the boogie cabs? Like, it happens. They didn't have them. They didn't pack them. I don't know what came off the rails. Immediately, I start getting, the relay of information. Hey, CJ, who's great, he comes down, he starts apologizing. Like, what can I do? He's like, we dropped the ball on this. It's 1,000% on us. And I told him, I was like, brother, apologies can't make this show happen. I'm an adult. We're going to get through this. I was like, we will handle this at a different day. What have we got on the boat? And he's like, I got Fender Red Knob Twin. I got this, I got dual rectifier, and I was like, oh man, nothing is what I need because we're on a metal festival. We're on a metal cruise. All right, so I start shooting stuff out. Well, my boy Greg Goldberg is on the boat with Squiggy. They're with the company American Musical Supply. It's like a Sweetwater, but it's like an AMS. It's like a competitor to Sweetwater, if you want to call it that. I don't know. It's just an online store for buying gear. And they're the best. I love Greg and Squiggy. And that's not to say I don't love Sweetwater, Guitar Sanctuary, or all. I mean, I have friends in the industry everywhere. So, but they immediately are trying to help, and they're like, hey man, we got a bad cat down here. We got this down here. I was like, all right, just start bringing them up. Bring up everything you got. So they start bringing them all up, and I'm starting to sweat a little bit. And I'll tell you, there's an added amount of pressure because on this cruise, all the guitar players come to my show. I don't know if they want to see me play well or if they want to see me fall on my face, but they all come to the show, and we're talking rippers. Brandon Ellis is there, Bumblefoot's there, like Marco's there, like all these kill squad dudes are coming to my show. I know the tone has to be right. Like it cannot be it can't be a compromised scenario. My sound that I use for my solo stuff is very much not like this. It's very much gain stacking pedals into a big loud clean amp. So we start shooting out amps. We're a couple hours from downbeat, and I'm shooting out amps, and I'm starting to stress. Finally, I was just like, look, bring me the 5153s, and we'll just set them up here and shoot them out with this Marshall and this whatever. And the Marshall wasn't like something in good condition. It was something that got thrown in at the last second. It may have been a JCM 900. And I know a lot of people have opinions on that amp. This is not talking about the 900. The 900 cannot do me. It cannot do the thing that I do, right? So we set up the 5153s, and we get the thing going, and I roll the clean tone back. And the way I did it was I turned the gain knob down and the volume knob down, and I cranked the volume knob with the gain all the way off, right? And I crank the volume knob on the green channel. And then I start rolling up the gain till it's about to get a pushed kind of sound. And I start dialing. All of a sudden, things start gluing together. I turn on my compressor. It starts sounding good. I turn on the gearbox. It's doing its thing. It's like, what is happening? Like, this, we can do this. We're fine. We can do this. So the show continues on, and Bumble's there, and Bumblefoot's a ripper. Y'all know, like, he's a ripper. Brandon Ellis is there. He's a ripper. Like, these kids are killers. And there's just monster players and monster musicians, and everybody's there. Show goes fantastic. I'm actually going to make a short video of this story and have it in addition to, but I figured a live stream would be great to talk about this initially. Show goes great. Tones are awesome. And I was just like, oh, well, okay. All right. Well, that's literally saved the day on my show. Like, my freaking headliner set saved the day. I was in one of the little satellite lounge stages, and this is like where they put medium-size acts. You know, it's like the headliners are on the big open, like Buck Cherry's playing the big, top deck. They're not on this year's cruise, but I'm just giving you an example of a band that would be up there. Like Killswitch Engage plays the big open deck. But the medium-size acts, like myself, would play one of these lounges, and everybody's got tables and chairs and listening, and it's very much dialed in as a listening environment, and it's not a mosh thing, but it was really, really, it was great. It saved the day. And a couple of highlights was Ben coming to sound check, and he's like, man, it sounds good. What are you playing through? And I was like, this 51. He's like, what? Playing 5150 for your stuff? And I was like, yeah. He's like, are you using it? I was like, no, I'm not using the blue or the red channel at all. Like, I'm literally running it like I run it. And I had it in stereo with two 5153s in stereo doing my big wide sound. And we'll demo that as I go through the amp. I don't have the foot switch out for the amplifier right now, so I'll have to go over to the amp and change the channels, but you can see it just right out of frame right over here. And yeah, man, it was this amp saved the day. And I wanted to look up if I just type in on the old Google machine, EVH 100 watt 5153 for sale. Let's just look at current market value of this together. So brand new, this head is $2,100. Okay. I'm seeing used ones for $1,700. I'm finding a used one for $1,500. Okay, so market value drops all the way down. Here's Musician's Friend, 3-channel, literally my amp for $1,375. Guitar Center has one for $1,100. I'm seeing this amplifier that I'm playing through right now for $1,100. This is easily the best value in tube amps on the market. Do I love Sir? Yes. Do I love Friedman? Absolutely. Do I love Bogner and Diesel? Absolutely. For the price of one of these, you can get, or for the price of one Diesel Herbert, you can get 3 of these. You can get 3 of these amps, almost 4, for one Diesel Herbert. Does that mean that the Herbert's less or more or not worth it? Absolutely not. I'm just comparing market value prices. And for a used one of these starting at $1,150 right now, that's today. So today is February 24th, 2026, and $1,100. It's crazy. So I wanted to walk through the amplifier and walk you through the different sounds and how I've got it set up. Right now I've got a VP4 in the loop, providing pitch shift and the wet, dry, wet kind of delay thing. So that sounds like, right? So if you're listening in stereo, you'll hear wet effects on the side and a dry tone in the middle. And you'll hear the pitch shift. It's copied from Van Halen's Eventide settings, and I'm not going to disclose the source that I got that from. but it sounds correct. Right? Look at that one again. Right? So it sounds correct for the stuff we're doing. And trying to think if there's any, I mean, you know, it's like the lead stuff sounds silky. I don't know the solo. I don't know. I don't remember the solo. I don't even know if I know. I don't even know if I ever learned that solo, but I think it starts like that, right? Something to that effect. But what else would be this kind of tone? What was that like? So that's kind of, you know, the overarching Van Halen thing. Now, when we go down to the blue channel, it's got a little more grunt in the mids, less gain. Right? So what else with the blue channel? You know, that's a little too modern for that thing, but I think this channel sounds really great for power chords. Turn some pitch shifter off. A lot of nice definition. When you boost it, I'm going to boost it with the blue side of the gearbox. Beautiful metal tone. So really, it's really good for the crunchy metal stuff. Boosted blue channel is a ripper. Nice for some. Really touch sensitive. Yeah, this is the 5153 on the blue channel. It's really nice, right? Yeah, it sounds killer. I keep thinking about that right now. I think the opening lick was something I think that's right, isn't it? Something like that. It's something into that effect. But the blue channel's really nice for these kind of things. All of that is the blue channel. Okay, now let's jump to the green channel. So the same settings on the reverbs and delay. So one thing I did to do this for it to save my butt was set the amp really dark. So as you can tell, and turn the pitch shift off. The amp is dark. And it's nice. I think that's a nice sound. Really nice, dark, kind of syrupy thing. It's too dark for clean tones. But what I do is I set it that dark and I engage the gearbox. So this is more my tone. So does it sound just like my SL68? No. But does it sound like me? Yeah. Top in it. It'll be about right there. And it sounds like me. And then with the blue side of the gearbox. So if I was going to play it sounds close enough to my sound that I can sell it, right? So then, basically I ran my whole board which is the board that I have right here, which is the clean stuff would be the compressor and a parametric EQ to brighten it up. So there's the para. So if I was going to play, and then for clean leads, I'm using the Joey Landreth Dirt Dog pedal. I mean, that sounds great, man. So I'll probably crank up a little bit more delay in the mix just for this kind of sound. Yeah. So that's like the main meat of my tone for my show. You know. I mean, super versatile. I was really blown away at how the Green Channel could emulate my sound. Go to the lead tones, you know. And it's really close to my sound, right? So it's obviously not the SL68 in that kind of range, but the point is the amplifier saved the day and came to the rescue. Maybe we even try to play a song, you know, just so kind of show what it is. Andy, can you expand on why? Here we go. Can you expand on why opt for stacked pedals as opposed to using amp gain or amp gain plus pedals? So I have the amp at the point to where it crunches on the clean sound. So I mean, there's just a little bit of crunch there, right? I like the amp if it's gonna crunch on a humbucker, but just barely, and the split sounds are clean, right? The reason I do it this way is because the lead tones are going to be more thick and creamy. Right? So that's that sound versus, say, the this sound. Like that's a very more shred kind of sound, a traditional shred sound. I like that creamier overdrive kind of thing for my lead tones. It's more vocal, and in my music, the guitar is the lead singer. So I'm not trying to slice through things, trying to just make things sound, warm. And touch sensitive. And I can control the top end with an EQ. Right? Yeah. Right? It's more of that kind of sound. Let's do one. I don't know which one to play. Do you guys have a request for one that you want to hear? Somebody said shoot the sun down. We could do that one. Yeah, let's try that. My octafuzz set up so the solo won't have the octafuzz. So it's pretty dadgum impressive that that's not my amp and my sound, and it goes to show how flexible this amplifier is. And man, I'm telling you, $1,100, fool, buddy. There's not a better one. I really don't think there's a better one, right? Yeah. So this is a tone that's that I made just for the Van Halen stuff, and it's a patch on the VP4 that I'm probably gonna offer for sale. I'm just gonna call it 90s Van Halen, 90s EVH. Save that. I'm gonna take you over to the setting that I use for my stuff on the VP4. I didn't even realize that I wasn't using like my tone. And my tone lives more in this realm. Let's see. Which one's the closest one to, yeah, modern era me? Probably this one, yeah. With the multi-head delay. That's really more how I do things. Let's do another tune, and I'll kind of try to do one that I haven't done in a while. I haven't played this one a lot, so it might be a little sloppy. Yeah, let's try this one. I haven't done this one a lot. This is Charisma. And this is just trying to show you that the 5153 does more than just metal stuff. Is coming from the Wampler gearbox. None from the Some fun stuff there. But yeah, it's crazy to think that this amplifier, goes from this kind of sound, to these kind of clean sounds. It's very touch sensitive. To a reverb. Put on this. I really like this gold plate reverb in the VP4. Put a 5-second decay on it. Yeah, the Woodshed compressor is on here. It's adding that chewiness. Here's without it. Woodshed compressor is the secret sauce to anything. It just makes everything more better. It delays the VP4. so let's hit some questions here. I'm just going to sit here and noodle. That's the problem, is if I start playing the guitar, it's hard to get me to come out of it. I'd put EVH amps up against any. Best to you and yours. Thanks for all you do. Absolutely. There's no question that this amplifier is an absolute monster. I am such a fan. Let me get back on that. Where was that? I had that Van Halen sound, and now I don't know what I did with it. I saved it somewhere. Yeah, here it is. Let's go ahead and put that back on. I'm going to turn the amplifier back into Van Halen mode, or specifically Van Hagar mode, which means getting rid of that and jumping over to this. Yeah, I'm putting this on. You see what I mean? You see how much different the way the amp sounds once you get accustomed to that warm, chewy thing. The amp now sounds... It sounds super metal. Yeah. Which is not bad. I mean, it nails those freaking Van Halen squeals, and I'm a sucker for that sound, you know. And it's got a little bit of that old school Giant kind of sound. I was working on some of those Mateo stretches. Some of those kind of sequences Mateo does, I love them. How'd I have that? A little sloppy, that's all right. Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm back to playing the guitar again. Let's do this. Let's do the question thing. Now that the amp is back in Van Halen mode. Andy, can you play Jim by Eric Johnson? I don't know Jim. Sorry, man. Make sure you hit the like button. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Share 1837 is saying, Mr. Wood, today I was hoping to close to buy your signature guitar. What stopped me was the fact it had thornbuckers. I don't know if there's a video showing a comparison between the various versions. The easiest thing to do is just get my guitar, contact Sir, and say, hey, this one's got thornbuckers. Can I get the woodbuckers? You know, I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know if there's one that's been out that needs the updated pickups. I mean, that seems like an easy fix, truthfully. My new woodbuckers really are amazing. At least that's what I like. You know, it's like, look, guys, I think it's funny that when we demo things and we talk about things, or we play our favorite heroes' music, inevitably some D-bag is going to be like, it doesn't sound like Van Halen. Well, guess what? I'm not Eddie Van Halen. It doesn't sound like Eric Johnson. Again, hey, I'm not Eric Johnson. But I can do a better Shoot the Sun Down than anybody on the planet because it's my song. It's like, it's knowing who you are and what your own statement is. And when I do some of these things and I demo these things, It's not meant to say, hey, look how close I can sound like it. It's just meant to say, hey, this gets you in the realm. And, I use this amplifier with Skankbanger, and it's funny, this came up on a Instagram thread that I ended up nuking. But Skankbanger is a full costume-based show where we're dressed like freaking 80s guys, and it's the giant hair and the spandex and leather pants and all this stuff, and we have a lightning bolt backdrop, and the drums light up, and we're playing neon guitars and stuff. It's full tilt. It's full out. And one guy, I posted the Eruption solo, and one guy's like, well, you botched a couple of licks. I was like, are you going to use the word botched because I didn't swing the phrase exactly like the record? I mean, like, I'll tell you this. I'm not Eddie Van Halen. I don't sound like Eddie Van Halen. He's one of one. But my version of Eruption was so close that when I tried to upload it to YouTube that it nuked it. And YouTube said, hey, this is too close. This can't be uploaded. Not even this is a shared revenue thing. It actually thought that I was stealing the music of Eruption. That's close enough for me. If YouTube thinks it's too close to where it said, no, you got to pay royalties, that's fine. But if YouTube is like, hey, this can't be posted, it had the, whatever the warning is, it's like, this video can only be set to private because it's not your material. I was like, well, okay, cool. But I want to say that in trying to beat it to the punch that if anybody says, well, it doesn't sound exactly like the Balance record, or it doesn't sound exactly like the Carnal Knowledge stuff. Look, man, I'm not him. We're not at 5150, and I don't have cabs and mics set up going through APIs and Neves and all this stuff. It's like, this stuff is just meant to show you how flexible the amp is, and I think it's the best value on the market. And same way when I did the Eric Johnson Y cable, inevitably somebody was like, it's not exactly like, I'm just like, dude, it's as close as I can get it without having the exact console he played through and me not being literally Eric Johnson. I think it's evident after 5 records that I've kind of tried to do my own thing and make my own sounds. And that's really the main part, the main point, main takeaway out of this video is that I could get it into my realm of my music. Let's pause and take that in for a second. Signature gear at its best is so flexible that you can find your sound in it. EVH amplifiers, if you want to use that as a quote, you can. I'm proud of that with my guitar. This guitar doesn't sound exactly like the Pound Cake guitar, but it sounds close enough, and it can do some stratty single coil things. These pickups sound nice and thick for rock heavy stuff. They sound good for fusion things. My signature stuff, you can find your sound in these guitars. It's there. I'm sure of it. If you had to do Foo Fighters gig, this guitar would do it. If you had to do a country gig, this guitar would do it. The EVH 5153 is technically a signature amplifier. It's got his damn initials on the faceplate. It's a signature amp. But it's so good that I was stuck in the middle of the ocean and I was able to find my sound in it out of necessity, out of like, man, there's no more amplifiers. I've got a bad cat, I've got a this, and I got a this, and I can't get the dual rec to do it right. I can't get this thing does. The bad cat sounded amazing on the cleans, but when I put the overdrive pedal to it, I was like, it doesn't do that fat, liquid, chewy thing. And this did. And I think that's a testament to why this amp is one of the greatest amplifiers available in the market right now. I think if there is a Swiss Army knife, it's so good, I want another one. Like, I want the EL34 one. Like, that's how good this is. That way I can just have one that permanently lives in my rack and one that can live with the Skankbanger gear. So it's really great. Mike, or my knees hurt, saying, how do woodbuckers compare to thornbuckers? Woodbuckers have a fatter mid-range. They're A2 magnet. They're more similar to the Van Halen pickup. Not a PAF, right? I'm talking about the Van Halen, like the Wolfgang pickups and the stuff that Eddie used later when it went to Alnico 2 magnet. It's close to the Slash pickups that had Alnico 2. It's close to the Pearly Gates pickups that had Alnico 2. That's really the thing in this pickup. It sounds really good and really like thick in the mids. Willful Thinker says that EVH botched it a million times. Yeah, talking about Eruption. That's an interesting thing too, right? Like think about how many times Eddie played it live and he never played it like the record. And think about how many times Eddie played it live and there's some not great performances where maybe he had too much to drink or whatever, it's like, but like at the end of the day, it's still Eddie Van Halen. He's one of one. Nobody can ever do it. There's some kids out there in the game that I think like Jacob DeRaps, he does a great Van Halen. I think he sounds more like Van Halen than anybody else. Ironically, some stuff that he plays is like his interpretation or interpolation of it. It's not exactly note for note, but he's doing all of the Van Halen like isms. And if it comes to a note for note thing, I think Tom Shreds really does the best note for note stuff, like the album. But Jacob sounds more like Eddie, if that makes sense. Young Eddie, if that makes sense. I haven't heard Jacob do a lot of the later stuff, but like it's very much DeRaps sounds like young Eddie, and it's really, really great. But again, to me, the thing that makes Eddie magical is not the lyrics, it's the songwriting, and that's something that, again, a great tool should be flexible enough to allow you to write your songs and play your music. So I just wanted to do this live stream today talking about all of the things that the Van Halen amp does that's not Van Halen. This is a 5153. Larry Lylan is in the house and he's asking about the amp. This is just a stock 5153. Nothing about it. What about the Woodshed pickups? What do you mean, what about them? Oh, you guys are talking about the output. Somebody says Andy could set someone else's gear to sonically get the closest to an album sound over most purists. Well, thanks. I have a tendency. It's a knack that I developed over the years of my career. I really appreciate that. I'm becoming self-aware of that when some of my producer friends and stuff have now considered me a reference point. And I'm very honored to say that. I've got a lot of really talented friends with a lot of really great ears, and they always use me as a reference point when it comes to things like, is this in the style of, what would you do to make it sit more like, sit like so and so, and it's funny, right? Because sometimes the devil's in the details of small things that nobody really pays attention to, right? Like that Y cable thing with the Eric Johnson amp. It was really interesting. But thank you for the kind words. Slim says that's like people complaining about Satch and Zach don't sound like enough like AVH or Dime. They spend just as long developing their own sounds. The fact that people say Zach doesn't sound enough like Dimebag is hilarious. I just want to go, it's because he's Zach freaking Wild. He should sound like Zach Wild. You know what I mean? And it should sound like Zach Wild playing Dimebag. I kind of wear it on my sleeve that when we do covers within my context, let's take Rooster or Fool in the Rain by Zeppelin. That's a cover that I did on a record once. They sound like me playing those songs. And I think that's the point. When we do Skank Banger, it sounds like us playing those songs. It's not supposed to sound like the record. Satriani does a great job in the Sammy Hagar band. Satch, if you ever need a night off, I'd be happy to sub for you for free. Just let me know. But Satch, he does a great job in the Sammy band. It's killer, and he gets things in the flavor of Van Halen. He does the wet, dry, wet thing. It's exactly the way it should be. But when it comes time to some of the solos, he's Joe Satriani, which he should be because he's Joe Satriani. You know what I mean? Like, that is not a dig at or disrespectful or, Sammy should have got a clone to play like that. It's like, no. He needs to sound like Joe Satriani. That's why he's there. Very much like David Lee Roth. He got Steve Vai because he sounds like Steve Vai, I love Zach Wild. Zach Wild's one of my favorite guitar players. It really, just like you hear that stuff, any of the No More Tears, Miracle Man, Like, it's like, golly dang, man, nobody sounds like him. I love it. You know, Zach's one of my favorites. So I think he does the Dimebag stuff with the appropriate love and respect, as it should have. Fantastic. So is this a 100-watt amp? This is just an overview too. There's a lot of small wattage amps out there. I'm sure you guys use them. I think there's an SL15, there's a 50-watt, there's a 50-watt Van Halen amp, there's 10-watt, 20, whatever. There's everything of every amp, it feels like. In general, if I've got the ability to be in a controlled environment that I call the shots on, we'll say it's my studio or my stage, like if I'm in charge, musical director, or it's an Andy Wood show or something like that, I'm always going to use 100-watt heads. If I use a less wattage, I'll use multiple of them, right? So like if I were to use a Bella, I would use 2 Bellas. You know, not for volume, but for displacement, immediacy. The Bella is one of the few amps that's not 100 watts that feels immediate under the fingers like a 100-watt amp does. It's one of the few amps that feels that way. A Deluxe feels great. And I know that's a 20-watt, 22-watt amp, but a Fender Deluxe feels immediate under the fingers. I really like that. Other amps, they kind of fall apart. Like Marshall circuits, when they're low wattage, they don't feel right to me. When I say they don't feel right, they don't feel like what I like. SL68's 100, EVH is 100, Diesel's 180 or whatever. 6 power tubes it's crazy. I like big wattage. It feels right. The attack is fast. And it feels what I like under the fingers. So yeah, that's just some added details. Yeah, I like the Engel, the one that Steve Morse uses too. It's great. Yeah, in-ear or floor monitors? This is a really good question. I use cabinets on stage when I can, and even with in-ears, when it's we've done gigs with both, right? Like we have an in-ear rig. We have a rig that is, we have monitors on the floor as well. So it's both. To me, there is no just one normal answer. With Gary LaVox, it's in-ears and a cabinet and a 412 on stage. With my solo stuff, it tends to be just some wedges because we don't have a lot of vocals, so that we're not fighting vocals. So that means we're not fighting the bleed of the microphones, you know. So with no vocals, you're not having to fight that, and it becomes not as much as an issue. Pete Thorne is absolutely no slouch at EVH. Pete Thorne murders that stuff. I use 2 412s in stereo when I do my thing. Like when I have control over my own domain, it's two 412s. I also use those plexiglass shields that Joe Bonamassa uses. It's who I got them from. He sells them on his website, and I got the ones for the 412s. And I recommend those a lot. So if you guys are ripping loud and you like the feeling of the amp, you know, get those plexiglass shields, and you can make your front of house guy and your audience feel very happy, you know. Album Dunford is asking a question about which load box do I use live. This has shifted over time, and I like several different ones. I like the Sur Reactive Load IR. With that, you're married to the IR. Not just the Sur Reactive Load, but any of these like IR style boxes. I've been using the 2 Notes Reload 2 because it can do my stereo split for my stereo effects. And with that, I line out into the aux software via the UA aux software. And that's different because it's like you're able to manipulate the software in real time. It's not like an IR. An IR is like a photograph. It's a stagnant image that you can't control. I like the aux, the universal audio software that allows you to control it. That's what I like to use. So, Chris is asking about the signal chain. Yeah, the signal chain is really simple. I'm going out of the red guitar and I think there's only a few of these left in the country, the red and the orange. So if you're looking for them, I think there might be one at Open Chord. I think there might be a couple at Sweetwater, and there might be a couple at Guitar Sanctuary. There's not a lot left. All the dealers got them. So there were only 100 produced, 100 in red and 100 in orange. So the red guitar out into the Woodshed compressor. That goes out into the Rev Dirt Dog, and that goes into the gearbox. Not any of those are all on at the same time. It's one or the other or none. So those are the 3 front end pedals. Out of that, I go into the front of the amp. Well, technically I go to the end of the front of the KHE amp switcher. Then that goes to the front of the 5153. The 5153 returns, goes into the UA audio aux. The aux converts it to line level. The line level goes into the Fractal VP4, out of the Fractal VP4. Now it's in stereo. That's where the split happens. And then, so the aux turns it into left and right. The left and right go into the VP4. That makes the image stereo. Then it goes into the Universal Audio Apollo 8. So that's the full top to bottom signal chain. Open Chord has 2 red. So if you like this guitar, Open Chord in Knoxville has 2. And when they're gone, they're gone. So this is not a running, this was an anniversary model. This is not a running order. This is, you know, we did the ones, and what's out there is out there. So I got fingerprints all over it, but let me just kind of hold it up and show you that right there. Yeah, the carbon fiber pick guard looks really great. Let me make sure I can get that in the camera. Yeah, let's do this one more time. Yeah, there you go. So there you can see the carbon fiber on it. It looks killer. There's still some fingerprints in there, but it looks great. And then it kind of looks like a black guard, but then it's got that weave and that shimmer to it that I'm just such a fan of. It just looks so good. The same with the orange. Yeah, it's a total race car kind of thing. And these were limited numbers, again, 100 of 100. So if you find a dealer that's got one and you want one, I just want you to know that they're not making anymore. So what's out there is out there. So there's 2 at Open Chord, yeah. So let's just hit a couple. The reds are back ordered at Sweetwater, which means sold out. Yeah, that's what that means. Yeah. I love what you do. Thanks. Just wondering what outputs do you use coming from your UAD aux into the interface? Yeah, I use the 1/4 inch outs. That way I can go into another piece of gear that's handling time-based stuff like the VP4. You can do that with an Axe-Fx as well. So there's some really nice ways that you can signal chain things. Yeah, really, really great. I'd put you, okay, there's a couple of questions in here. There's just some kind words about the inspiration. Let me just make sure that I'm not getting a text message here. Okay, hang on, sorry. Yeah, anyways, you know, there's a lot of ways to skin the cat when it comes to tone. There's a lot of right answers. In general, there's no one amp that does it all, but I have been very blown away with how versatile the 5153 is. So yeah, that's probably going to do it for the live stream here today. If you're watching in the live stream, please subscribe. It goes farther than you think. If you're watching this after the fact, also subscribe. It'd be great. The housekeeping goes like this. We're just going to do it quick. The Patreon members, there's 600 and something, 700 probably now. I don't even know how many. There's a bajillion lessons on Patreon. There's a weekly live masterclass that we do on Zoom on Patreon, and that is patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic, and that keeps the lights on and makes sure we're able to continue to do live streams like this, and that's what runs this channel. So if you like it and you want to support it, $5 a month. If you want to join the masterclass and improve your playing, more tips and tricks, that's all at $25 a month. So, a couple of Starbucks and you're there, right? Now for buying tone packs, like the VP4 tone packs and the Axe-Fx 3, Line 6 tone packs, all of that stuff is at the same exact website that you can find my tour dates on, sweatshirts, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, transcriptions, backing tracks. All those products are at andywoodmusic.com. So that's it. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm probably going to sit here and dig through some other sounds. I'm going to finish making these tone packs for the FM9 that's sitting right next to me. I'll be making another video on this same topic. So, if you guys enjoy everything, I'm glad. It's good to hang out with you every Tuesday afternoon. And I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.